Hey there. I find myself with some free time, which is a bonus. The weather's just sucking here lately. It's been raining almost every day. There's supposed to be racing going on this weekend. Not that we would have made it, but it got rained out. Been trying to catch up on yard work in between the rain, and I find myself kind of done everything I can do, and it's raining right now, so I thought I'd get in here and start prepping the stuff I need to put the Chevette back together. So I've ordered all the stuff I need that I didn't have, and I've got most of the stuff, so I can do all the fab work here, and then when the rest of the parts show up, it's just a matter of bolting it all together and getting it on the car. Anyways, first thing I'm going to do is strip out what I want out of these old pieces and get them in the garbage, and then start prepping the new pieces.
Assembly is as easy as removing any old brackets, bushings, studs, and ball joints from any of the components that were wrecked. I use a combination of a ball joint press, a hammer, and some frustration to remove the bushings from the control arm. I'll remove the shock mount and reuse that on the new control arm as well.
So these are a thread-in style ball joint on the bottom, the ones that I use. Problem is, when the control arm bent, part of that tap there, so now I can't spin that out, so I'll grind out that little bit there too.
Upon close inspection, I've deemed this ball joint reusable. So, I got a bucket full of, there's a spindle hub assembly there. Oh, what's this? That's the side we need. This got the control arm and the spindle. That's the one we'll use.
So with the salvageable parts off of the wrecked control arm and spindle, my next step is to strip down this stuff so I can use it. So control arm looks to be in fine shape, other than it being rusty. Spindle looks to be in fine shape, so the caliper I don't need, caliper bracket I don't need, but I'll end up saving that because it looks like it's still good. At this point, the hub assembly I don't need. I use the Datsun hub, but the spindle is what we need, so I'll pull that all off carefully so we don't wreck the threads on the spindle. Let's see what happens. This is going to be the worst part of the whole job, I think. So I got the Datsun hub here. I've been running a Datsun hub on the front end, the Datsun hub. Fits directly onto the Chevette spindle, uses and fits directly with the stock Chevette caliper and the stock Chevette location. Everything's identical. Difference is smaller disc for a little less front brake, and this hub weighs a couple pounds less than the Chevette hub. In all honesty, in the future, I will be going back to a Chevette hub once I can afford to replace all the wheels and tires, because the bolt patterns are a little different. Basically, to get this guy off, I just got to get the brake disc off, and then I can pop these studs out. I can replace it with my studs, and I've got proper or new bearings coming for this, so I'll strip all the bearings out and get it ready.
Seal and bearing removal is pretty straightforward. The seals pop out and the bearings get pounded out with a hammer and a punch.
Those rarely come apart that easy for me. That was awesome. Woo!
The wheel studs on these hubs are a press-in type. I remove the studs from the replacement hub first, and then from the damaged hub to install them in the new one. To reinstall the new studs, I start them with a hammer, and then use the lug nut and an impact gun to pull it through the rest of the way.
So this was the hub that came off the car in the crash. I thought I'd be able to salvage it. I was hoping to just repack the bearings with new bearings. Then I know how to install this mess here. So it should look nice and round like that. But it doesn't anymore. So I think that's as far as I'm going to get today. Everything is out and ready for what needs to be done. To be honest, I just don't feel like getting dirty today. I got to wire wheel all this off, clean it all up so I can cut and weld in the new bung for the ball joint, clean up the spindle, throw some paint on it so it looks respectable, wait for the bearings and the seals for this guy, and we can get it all back in. But it looks like the rain's lit up, so I'm gonna go try and get some stuff done around the house like I should be doing, and we'll go from there. So I was able to switch gears. I ended up getting out of work a little bit early today. Had a bit of time to kill before I need to go pick up the kids. So I thought I'd come in and just check over. I wanted to check the plugs and the pistons after messing around with the timing and the fuel and make sure that everything still looks good there. So I figured I'd do that at this point just so I don't have to get too involved in anything without a whole lot of spare time. The spark plugs look really good. I was really curious to see what they look like, but it looks like we're in a pretty safe zone. The engine's performing really well. I don't see a need to make any changes here at all. I think I'll just measure the gap so I can document it, and then these can go back in. Really happy with that. I bought this Borescope off Facebook for like 20 bucks. We'll see if we can get a look inside and see what the tops of the pistons look like.
So I don't know how well this will show up. My little camera barely fits in the hole, but it does give us a good look at the piston. I was just looking for hot spots mainly, and for the most part that one looks pretty good. And if I look inside, all those little spots, it's just carbon buildup. If we try and look down here, that piston's down a little further, we can still see the cross hatching on the walls, cylinder walls. The portion of the piston that we can see looks pretty good. I don't think there's anything to really worry about here. I'll cycle it through and bring the front and back pistons up to the top and get a look at them. But I think the engine looks pretty good.
I think that's as far as I'm going to get in this video. I'll work on the assembly of the suspension on another time. Hopefully I can get some time this week. The only way that'll happen is if Lucas's lacrosse team doesn't keep rolling through the playoffs like they have been. Go Rams. So hopefully I can get it in there. Scotty wants to get it back to his place, Pops Chops, and give it another once over now that we've got a good hard race under our belt and a good hard hit against the wall under our belt, just to give everything another once over. So that's where we'll leave it for now. Engine looks really good. I'm really happy about that. You kind of breathe a big sigh of relief when you get to look inside at the stuff like that and it looks that good. So I think we're done messing with the engine. It's quick, it runs well, stays cool, it does everything it's supposed to, and it's reliable. So I'm just going to keep maintaining it. Suspension wise, we'll get it back together here soon, and that will be the next time you see us. Maybe, just maybe, we can get back onto this thing at some point down the road, but that's kind of taking a back seat just to life in general. Anyways, thanks for watching. We'll catch you guys next time. Cheers.